if you read the fine print of the stories that are coming out and trying to spin these Super Bowl ratings, it actually tells the real story. I want to first read you something from Front Office Sports. They had, their article, Super Bowl 60 viewership down 2%, draws 125 million viewers, basically. Well, here's what the fine print actually says in the story, buried in the story. Notably, this was also the first Super Bowl with Nielsen's big data plus panel measurement process. The methodology, first introduced last September, brings in millions of additional data points from set-top boxes and smart TVs. That expanded view of the market has helped produce viewership gains across much of live sports, and particularly pro and college football, but not with the Super Bowl. Let me help you understand that piece of fine print. What that means is, since September, when we rigged up this new accounting system at Nielsen that counts all of these extra people, we've boosted up the TV ratings for football, and since September, everybody in live sports has been benefiting from this new calculation and new system that keeps producing these record ratings. First time this many million, this percentage, blah, blah. They had a system in place designed to boost the ratings of the Super Bowl. And it didn't boost the ratings of the Super Bowl. That's an indicator. That's an indicator that the NFL and the Super Bowl are losing their grip. They've become too arrogant, that the Bad Bunny thing was a mistake. That the de-emphasis of competition in all sports has been a mistake. People are finally starting to wake up to the diminished content. They're producing more content and they're giving us more content, but the content is no good. And that the NFL, if people were interpreting this properly, if they were free to explain what's happening properly, they would be telling you all today that, man, the NFL and football for the first time is running into the same problem that the NBA has had, that Major League Baseball has had, that their grip on America and American television is actually starting to slip. And they've put together these systems to conceal the fact that their product, if I had been thinking, I would have compared this to The Wire, my favorite TV show. They've stomped on the product. The heroin isn't as good as it used to be. They're having to lace it with other things to cover up for the fact that the heroin's no good. And the customers, Bubbles, and the people addicted to the National Football League and football are starting to wake up like, hey, man, I'm not getting as high as I used to off of football. And at some point in The Wire, their argument was, Stringer Bell would tell people like, hey, man, that just means they'll buy more heroin. Don't get as high, just take more heroin. That's what's been going on in sports. Hey, you're not getting as high, but all the games are available to you everywhere. Because, again, people like me, Peyton and Luke and Justin, you guys have no idea that there was a time when you would get 2 football games on a Sunday, and that's it. Whatever your hometown team was, and then you get another game, and that was it. The Pacers, when I was growing up, maybe they had 10 games on local TV a year. You listen to most of the games on the radio. Again, there was a time when the product was scarce. Now they put the product everywhere. They've removed the competition from the product, but it's more readily available. the the drug that the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, that all these sports, it's all been stomped on in the name of inclusivity and making the game more feminine and more accessible for women. They've stomped on the actual competition product, and that's why LeBron James doesn't want to play games anymore. And I'll get to that. I'll connect that dot here in a minute. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I want to read some more from the fine print. This is from The Athletic, which is the New York Times, making the exact same point, but doing it more subversively and a bit more cleverly. This is all being handled with kid gloves because this whole myth, and you got to understand the importance of the myth that they're selling, that, hey, man, we can feminize everything, make things less masculine, and they'll all be just as appealing as they used to be. That's the lie they're telling you. And that's why these Super Bowl ratings are very important. They want you to believe that this stomped on product, this diminished product, this product that we've loaded up with all these different agendas, they want to tell you, they want to lie to you and say, man, it's just as potent as it's ever been. There's more people watching. They're lying. This was the fourth Super Bowl since 1971. It's only happened 4 other times, or 3 other times, where it captured less than 40% of the American audience. I believe this one caught 37.3 or somewhere, 37% of the American audience, I think. Fourth time since 1971 that's happened. The Super Bowl used to capture 50, 52%, 53% of the American audience. Its grip is lessening. Hold on, correct me if I'm wrong. Did I say, yeah, it is less than 40%. But the Super Bowl used to capture much more percentage of the American audience. But I'm sorry, let me go back to the fine print, Luke. I'm confusing you. This is in the New York Times article. In falling short of last season's mark, the game's average audience for Sunday was potentially influenced by a largely listless game on the field. Off the field, the audience numbers incorporated a more expansive reporting methodology from ratings partner Nielsen that was implemented in 2025. The new system more accurately captures the full audience picture, if resulting in across-the-board higher than historical numbers for a range of sports TV properties over the past 6 months. That last sentence, in my view, intentionally confusing. They're trying to make the point in their celebratory article, or their article, I wouldn't call it celebratory, but in their article analyzing and making excuses for why the ratings dip. Trust me, there are hundreds of millions of dollars riding on these ratings. Hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, riding on keeping the perception that the NFL and the Super Bowl is just as strong as ever. No, it's not. No, it's not.